Imagine you are floating above a world that looks like a sapphire. From orbit, it glows a deep, impossible blue. Bluer than Earth. Bluer than any ocean you have ever seen. Your ship's instruments hum quietly around you. Everyone on the mission channel goes silent because for a moment, this place looks like paradise. Then the readout updates. Wind speed, 5,400 miles per hour. And it isn't wind carrying water, it's carrying glass. At first, the blue color feels like a gift. On Earth, blue skies mean oxygen. They mean safety. They mean home. Scientists first saw this strange color reflected from a planet called HD 189733b, 969 light years from where you are sitting right now. And for a moment, they let themselves hope it was an ocean. But something is wrong. This isn't water reflecting sunlight, it's silicate. The same mineral found in beach sand. The same mineral that, under enough heat, can become molten glass. High in this planet's atmosphere, that glass doesn't simply exist. It forms clouds. And those clouds don't rain water down onto some gentle blue sea. They rain shards. To understand how wrong this place is, you have to understand how enormous it is. HD 189733b is a gas giant, larger than Jupiter. A world so immense that if you somehow tried to walk around its equator, you would die from the environment long before you crossed even a tiny fraction of it. But here's the problem. This isn't a slow, sleepy giant like the planets in our solar system. This world orbits its star in just over 2 days. 2 days. Mercury, the fastest planet we know intimately, takes 88 days to complete one orbit around the Sun. This world is so close to its star that its entire year is shorter than your work week. And that proximity does something terrifying to its atmosphere. It cooks it, and then it launches it. Here on Earth, when meteorologists warn of a Category 5 hurricane, they are talking about winds near 157 miles per hour. That's enough to peel roofs from buildings. Enough to turn debris into missiles. Enough to kill. But on HD 189733b, astronomers using the Hubble and Spitzer space telescopes measured wind speeds near 5,400 miles per hour. That is not a hurricane. That is not even close to a hurricane. It is a wall of atmosphere moving faster than a speeding bullet. Faster than sound itself. Several times faster than sound itself. Screaming from the planet's blistering day side toward its slightly less blistering night side in an endless, violent current that never stops, never slows, never rests. And this is where everything changes. Because that wind isn't just moving air, it's moving the glass. Picture yourself standing, if you somehow could stand, anywhere on this world. The temperature around you is near 1700 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to melt silver, hot enough to melt gold, hot enough that solid rock in the upper atmosphere doesn't simply heat up, it vaporizes. The material rises into the atmosphere, drifts through the violent currents, and then cools just enough to condense into tiny particles of glass. But those particles don't fall gently. There is no gentle on this planet. They are caught by winds moving thousands of miles per hour and driven sideways, not down. They become a horizontal storm of microscopic shrapnel. Imagine a spacecraft entering that atmosphere. The particles would slam into its hull again and again, at incredible velocity. There would be no peaceful descent, no calm clouds beneath you, no safe surface waiting below. Only atmosphere, pressure, heat, and an endless stream of glass moving sideways through the darkness. This isn't rain. It's a horizontal storm of molten-formed shrapnel, forever circling a world too hot to ever let it land. But that's not even the worst part. Here's what should terrify you more than the glass, more than the heat, more than the wind. We can't actually see the surface. We can't actually see the surface, and we don't know if this planet even has one in the way we imagine. Gas giants like HD 189733b may have no solid ground at all. Just atmosphere, layer after layer, thicker, denser, hotter, deeper. Under crushing pressure, the atmosphere could gradually transform into something between gas and liquid. A place where the simple idea of a surface stops making sense. There may be no floor waiting for you, no rock beneath your feet, no point where you can finally stop falling. Here, down simply means worse, forever. Scientists study worlds like this by watching what happens when the planet passes in front of its star. As the starlight travels through the atmosphere, different molecules absorb different wavelengths of light. This technique is called transit spectroscopy. And hidden inside that faint filtered light are chemical fingerprints, clues about what the atmosphere is made of. Observations of HD 189733b have revealed evidence of atmospheric silicate particles, helping explain the strange blue appearance of this distant world. An entire alien sky built from ingredients associated with glass. But we still don't know exactly how deep this storm goes. We don't know what waits beneath those clouds, and we don't know whether anything could ever survive long enough to reach the deeper atmosphere and send a signal back home. NASA has never sent a spacecraft toward HD 189733b, not because scientists aren't curious, because the distance is almost unimaginable, 969 light years. And even if we could somehow send a probe there, the environment would be another problem entirely. Extreme heat, extreme pressure, violent winds, and particles moving through the atmosphere at terrifying speeds. There is no spacecraft humanity has built that could simply descend into that world and expect to keep functioning. But then the planet reveals something even stranger, something that changes the entire picture. HD 189733b is believed to be tidally locked to its star. One side permanently faces the star, the other side permanently faces away. One hemisphere lives beneath eternal daylight. The other exists in endless darkness. There is no normal sunrise, no sunset, no morning, no evening, no relief. The star burns one side continuously, and the planet's atmosphere is forced to carry that energy around the world. The day side is a furnace that never dims. The night side is a black void that never brightens. And somewhere between those two extremes, the atmosphere is moving at thousands of miles per hour. The wind becomes the planet's desperate attempt to redistribute heat. Hot material races away from the permanently illuminated side toward the darker hemisphere, carrying energy across a world trapped between eternal day and endless night. But the star never stops burning, so the imbalance never truly disappears. The atmosphere keeps moving, the clouds keep churning, the glass keeps flying, and the entire planet remains locked inside a permanent state of physical crisis. A storm that doesn't pass, a heat wave that doesn't end, a night that never becomes morning. Imagine being placed into that atmosphere. Somehow you have a suit, you have shielding, you have every piece of technology humanity has ever created to keep a human alive. It wouldn't matter. The heat would begin attacking your equipment almost immediately. Your suit would absorb an environment far beyond anything human technology was designed to withstand. Then the wind would arrive. Not as a breeze, not as a hurricane, as a wall. Thousands of miles per hour of moving atmosphere slamming into you with incredible force. Your body would have no way to fight it. Your equipment would begin failing. And then there would be the particles. Tiny fragments of silicate racing through the atmosphere at extreme velocity. They wouldn't simply hit your suit. They would continuously strike it. Again, and again, and again. Every exposed surface would be bombarded. What we call sandblasting on Earth would become something far more violent. Glass blasting. The particles would tear at the outer layers of your equipment, while the heat weakened the materials underneath. You wouldn't be falling toward a beautiful blue ocean. You wouldn't even be falling toward land. You would be descending into an atmosphere with no obvious boundary between sky and something deeper. And the farther down you went, the worse everything would become. Pressure would increase, temperature would rise. The darkness would become almost complete. The atmosphere above you would stretch for thousands of miles. And somewhere beneath all of it, there may be no solid surface at all. You could keep falling, deeper and deeper, until the concept of standing no longer meant anything. This would not be a slow death. It would be erasure. And it would happen in minutes, not hours. We used to look at blue planets and think of home. We used to see blue oceans, blue skies, distant worlds glowing in the darkness, and assume that beauty meant safety. HD 189733b destroys that assumption. From a distance, it looks peaceful, almost perfect. A sapphire sphere floating silently among the stars. But move closer, and the illusion disappears. The blue isn't an ocean. It's an atmosphere filled with silicate haze. The clouds aren't gentle. They are part of a violent planetary system where glass particles are carried sideways by winds reaching thousands of miles per hour. The heat isn't temporary. The day side never gets a sunset. The night side never gets a sunrise. And somewhere between them, the atmosphere is locked in a permanent struggle to move energy around a world that can never find true balance. This planet is a warning wrapped in sapphire light. It sits nearly 1,000 light years away, silently challenging everything we associate with the color blue. Because livable doesn't mean beautiful, and beautiful doesn't mean safe. Sometimes the most terrifying places in the universe are the ones that look inviting from far away. Somewhere right now, glass is moving sideways through a 5,000-mile-an-hour wind. A storm circling a world that has no ocean, no familiar ground, perhaps no solid surface at all. It has been happening for longer than human civilization has existed, long before the first human ever looked toward the stars and wondered what might be waiting out there. And it will continue long after every city, every civilization, and every human story has disappeared. The planet will keep turning. The star will keep burning. The winds will keep moving. And the glass will keep flying. Forever. Because the universe was never built for us. It was never designed to be comfortable. It was only waiting to be noticed. And when we finally look closely enough, we discover that some worlds are not destinations. They are warnings. Warnings that beauty can hide violence, that distance can hide danger, and that somewhere in the darkness, there are places where the laws of nature create worlds more hostile than anything humanity could ever build. HD 189733 is one of them. A sapphire world with no paradise beneath the blue. Only heat, pressure, wind, and glass. Forever falling sideways toward a ground that may not even exist. And perhaps that is the strangest thing about HD 189733b. From millions of miles away, it looks almost peaceful. A blue world. A beautiful world. A world that seems to belong in the same category as Earth. But beauty is only what reaches your eyes. It tells you nothing about what is happening beneath it. Behind that blue atmosphere is a planet trapped in extremes. A world where heat becomes vapor, where vapor becomes particles, where those particles are caught by violent winds, and where those winds carry them endlessly across the sky. There is no shelter, no safe season, no moment when the storm stops. The planet does not care that we are watching. It does not know that we exist. For billions of years, it has simply followed the laws of physics. Star. Gravity, heat, pressure, wind, and glass. That is what makes this world so unsettling. Nothing here is supernatural. Nothing requires an alien civilization. Nothing needs a monster hiding beneath the clouds. The horror comes from something much simpler. Nature itself is enough. A planet can be beautiful without being habitable. A sky can be blue without containing an ocean. And a distant world can look peaceful while being capable of destroying anything we could ever send into it. So the next time you look into the night sky and see a blue point of light, remember what HD 189733b teaches us. The universe does not promise that beautiful worlds will be friendly. It only promises that they will be there, silent, distant, and waiting for someone to look closely enough to understand what they really are. Somewhere nearly 1,000 light years away, the sapphire world continues its endless journey. The star burns. The atmosphere moves. The glass flies. And the storm continues. Not for us. Not because of us. But simply because the universe allows it. And perhaps that is the most terrifying discovery of all.